In this video, I want to have a look at finding the midpoint between 2 points. So the midpoint of x1, y1 and x2, y2 is given by this formula here. So we've got midpoint, capital M, is equal to x1 plus x2 over 2 and y1 plus y2 over 2. Now this formula isn't on your formula sheet, so you do need to remember it and understand it. Effectively what we're doing, if we're trying to find the middle, so halfway between this point and this point, we're going to average things out. So we're going to look at our x coordinates first and average those out. And to do that, we can add them together and then divide by 2 because there's 2 of them, and that'll give us halfway. And then we can do the same thing for our y coordinates. So we'll add those together and then halve it, and that'll give us halfway between those 2 y coordinates. So let's have a look at what it looks like with an example. So our example asks us to find the midpoint of 2, 3 and minus 8, 1. So midpoint is equal to, so we're going to add our x coordinates together, so 2 plus minus 8, and divide that answer by 2. And then we're going to do the same thing with our y coordinates, so we'll have 3 plus 1, and then halve that. So it doesn't matter if we'd done this the other way around. If we'd gone minus 8 plus 2 and 1 plus 3, it doesn't matter, we'd still get the same answer. So we've got 2 plus minus 8, so 2 minus 8 would give us minus 6 over 2. And 3 plus 1 would give us 4 over 2. And just simplifying that down would give us minus 3, 2. So the point with coordinates minus 3, 2 is halfway between the 2 points we were originally given. Our second example is a little bit different. So it's asking us to find the values of a and b if 3, 5 is the midpoint of a, b and minus 1, 1. So this time we're given the midpoint and we're given one endpoint, but we're asked to find the coordinates of the second midpoint. So the first thing we should do is write down our formula. So midpoint is x1 plus x2 over 2 and y1 plus y2 over 2. So now we can fill in what we know. We know that our midpoint is 3, 5. And our x1, x2 is that a and minus 1. So a plus minus 1, so I'll just write a minus 1 over 2. And then we've got b plus 1 over 2. So if these coordinates have to be equal to these coordinates, that means that this 3 here has to be equal to this whole a minus 1 over 2. And it also means that this 5 has to be equal to this b plus 1 over 2. So we can write 2 separate equations now and solve them. So we'll have this a minus 1 over 2 has to be equal to that 3, and b plus 1 over 2 has to be equal to 5. So now we've got 2 separate equations. We'll go through and solve each of them. So for this one, we'll times everything by 2. So we'll have a minus 1 is equal to 6, and then we'll have to add 1 to both sides, and we'll end up with a is equal to 7. On this one, we'll times both sides by 2. So we'll have b plus 1 is equal to 10, and then we'll have to subtract 1 from both sides, and we'd have b is equal to 9. So that's what the question's asked for. It's asked for a and b. So a is 7 and b is 9. So what that means is that our other midpoint has coordinates 7, 9. So the points 7, 9 and minus 1, 1, the midpoint of those is at 3, 5. Right, so that's a few examples of questions involving the midpoint of 2 points.